as a local observer, I wanted to get your perspective on one of the bigger free agents, and that is Christian Walker, somebody that Yankees fans are interested in. There's obviously a hole at first base. They basically let it be known through one of their reporters yesterday that Anthony Rizzo is not coming back. So that opens up first base. They got some prospects, but I think that they might want to go shopping in the deeper end of the pool, especially if they miss out on Juan Soto. So I was hoping you could kind of shed some light on who Christian Walker is at this point in his career.
As far as Christian Walker goes, he is perhaps the most underrated player in baseball. And the fact that he is getting such little attention this offseason is kind of the story of his career. And if you look at him, he can hit 30-plus homers with ease. He is a very good defender at first base. He's a very strong locker room guy, someone that was really highly respected in the Arizona organization. And he is someone, to me, is worthy of a contract worth 20 or more million a year. And whether, like, how long that contract is kind of remains to be seen. He played last year at the age of 33, so he's in the back half of his career for sure. So I'm wondering, does he get a 3-year deal? Does he get a 4-year deal? My guess is probably he gets about a 3-year contract for around 20 million a year, which is, I mean, that's a really strong contract, but it's not a long-term, like, it would not be a long-term deal, which would not handicap the Yankees like for a significant amount of time, which I think that flexibility would be good for them, especially if they do miss out on Juan Soto. But to me, I think you're absolutely spot on about it. I think Walker would be like a perfect target for them.
Yeah, I mean, they were paying Josh Donaldson $25 million for the last couple of years. He did practically nothing. So, I mean, you say 3 years, $20 million per, that's a little less than Luis Severino got from the A's. So, I mean, that's a hell of a deal for a guy. I mean, just looking at his StatCast numbers, the thing that impresses me is the bat speed. He's in the top 11 percentile of the league in bat speed, despite being in his mid-30s. And, you know, if you can get the bat around quick, you're going to have some pop. We've seen him hit some absolute bombs. I see a lot of range there at first base, but I haven't had a chance to watch him play defensively. Does the eye test match the fielding run value, something that doesn't always occur?
Yeah, it absolutely matches the eye test. He is, to me, he's a complete ball player. I mean, you wonder how exactly he's going to end up faring in his age 34, 35, 36 seasons, or however long a team would potentially sign him. But to me, the player that he is in Arizona, I'm optimistic that he can keep that going next year and beyond. And like, just offensively, defensively, he, to me, is everything that I would want in a ball player. And if you don't go out and get a Juan Soto type, or if you don't go out and get a Willy Adames or someone like that, if you can go out and get Christian Walker, maybe fans are like, oh, we ended up struggling this offseason. They're kind of down going into the season. But once the season starts, I think they really see the presence that he brings and just how good he actually is.
Who else do you think could be a good fit for him? I mean, I don't know what teams are out there looking for a first baseman, but you would imagine that anybody could use a bat like this and who can obviously pick it too. So does he have kind of a robust market, or is it just a couple of teams?
Yeah, I think his market is going to be robust. And if you can look at it, you can see, I think the Seattle Mariners make a lot of sense, because if you look at them, they need a bat in the worst way. They need multiple bats, and they've explored the market. How much money they have to spend remains to be seen. I know Scott Braun, every time I'm on Foul Territory, always reminds me that the Mariners do not spend, or that they will not be spending on a bat of that caliber. So we'll see about that. But I think they make a lot of sense. The San Francisco Giants have been shopping Lamont Wade Jr. for the most part of the offseason. So if they're able to move on from him, then I think a guy like Christian Walker could make a lot of sense there as well. Maybe the Houston Astros could make sense. Although, that being said, their number one priority is Alex Bregman. They have made that abundantly clear. They've made offers to him. No deal has gotten done there yet. But then if you look at it for next year, they got one of their starters that they need to extend, and then they also got Kyle Tucker, who's entering the final year of his deal. So they got to be real careful with their finances in Houston. So of all the candidates, or of all the teams that I just mentioned, there's questions that come with each one of them, which could end up really opening up the door for the Yankees or any other team really kind of pounce and get Christian Walker then.
I suppose the only question I have as a Yankees fan is you're replacing a left-handed bat, right? We're going to lose Rizzo, possibly Soto, unfortunately, and Alex Verdugo. So that's 3 big left-handed bats. How are his splits? Like, is he somebody who's neutralized by tough righties, or is he pretty much consistent versus, righties or lefties alike?
Yeah, he's pretty much balanced, which is a really good thing. So with what you end up getting from Christian Walker is he's a very balanced guy. So you can have him in the lineup in every different scenario. So, I got my dog biting my ankle. Come on, buddy. What's up, buddy? Yeah, I got a puppy, so I was going through the puppy stage right now. But he is a very complete player. Like, to me, there's not many times you'll find me like really just so high on a player in so many different ways. But offensively, he's very good against right-handed and left-handed pitchers. Very, very balanced there. But then you look at him defensively, he's very strong there. Locker room guy, very strong. I know that coaching staff and that front office is very high on him, and I would not rule out a reunion in Arizona. It just could come down to price, but yeah, he's just a very, very strong, complete player in my eyes.
I want to hit you up on another guy who's with the Diamondbacks right now for the moment, and that is Jordan Montgomery. Could you see him get moved at the trade deadline? I was a big fan of Jordan Montgomery when he was with the Yankees. He got traded for Harrison Bader. I didn't love the deal at the time because Bader was in a walking boot, didn't play for 6 weeks. And then Monty went on to have a great finish with the Cardinals and then obviously a fantastic job with the Texas Rangers. He switches sides of the World Series after last season, or after the 2023 season. Did not have a great year. Obviously, the owner had some choice words about that contract. Do you think he's going to get moved?
I think it almost has to happen. I mean, you never see an owner speak out like that ever. And I remember, so I'll even go back to that when the Yankees ended up trading Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader. I thought that trade was fake. That was because it came across my desk and it had not been reported yet. And I sent a text to somebody who would know. I'm like, hey, is this right? And all of a sudden, like, he's like, yeah. And he told me that I could send it. I'm like, and all of a sudden my phone just blows up and Twitter's like, what the F? Like, it was crazy. And then obviously he has all the success there. And last offseason was really frustrating for him. But then he struggles this year, and the Arizona Diamondbacks' owner, Ken Kendrick, just absolutely blasts him. And to me, that was one of the strongest, harshest comments I've ever heard from a baseball owner since I got into baseball. And after comments like that, you cannot keep Jordan Montgomery. Like, you have to trade him, and you can use that money saved from trading Montgomery. They'll have to eat some of that contract, I would imagine. But any savings there would be good for them. It could allow them to keep Christian Walker or go out and sign a different free agent. But to me, Montgomery's pitch his last game in Arizona. I do not see any way that he comes back next year.
I'm thinking Marcus Stroman for Jordan Montgomery. Who says no?
That's maybe. I think it's a good trade, actually. It's making me. I mean, it's interesting. At least made me think.
I'll throw you the worst comments I've ever heard from an owner. This was George Steinbrenner. Obviously, he had the Mr. May thing with Dave Winfield when he had a tough October. But when Hideki Irabu was with the Yankees, he failed to cover first base during a spring training game, and he called him a fat, pussy toad. And then, and then he said after the game he was going to give all of his Hideki Irabu T-shirts to the Sisters for the Blind. So that's that's
he
sort
did
of the
not
bar.
Hold back.
Yeah, that's the bar.
Stories. It's crazy. There was another one. There was a pitcher. Was it David Wells who ended up coming up? He ended up mentioning a story about his interaction with Steinbrenner. It was either David Wells or somebody. I can't remember who it was, but it was just he did not hold back. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he didn't pull any punches. We miss him. He was entertaining. But Robert Murray, thanks for lending your insight. It's going to be an interesting winter meetings. I saw your tweet that said, once Soto falls, all hell breaks loose. I hope you're prepared for a week without sleep, my friend, because I'm preparing for the same thing.
Oh, I'm absolutely prepared. This is my time where it's my Christmas, is what I like to call it. There's going to be very little sleep had. There's going to be many conversations had. But I'm so here for it. I would recommend staying tuned to my Twitter because hopefully I got some big stuff in the hopper.